All right, welcome to the Kayak Bass Connection podcast. I'm your host, Jared. Tonight we have a special guest. A friend of mine has joined us. I've been after him for months. We have Kevin Cox finally here with us to talk about a jig that you often don't hear about a lot in today's tournament trails, and that is the old school tube jig. Kevin, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, Jared, it's good to be here.
Hey,
Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking time to help us understand this. I'm just going to say old school fishing technique, right? Many of you may have known Kevin before. He's been on the podcast several times, and the reason he's been on so many times, he keeps winning in the Southern Illinois Kayak Club tournament trail. So he's on here a lot because he's finished in the top 3 in our tournament season, and as well, you just accomplished a major milestone with the Crossroads team championship as a member of that team too. So that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, great way to finish out the season. So Kevin definitely knows what he's talking about. And I noticed a lot of times during kind of our debrief at the end of the day after the tournament, Kevin starts out with, "Well, you know me, I was fishing a jig." So the first time I heard that, thought, "Oh, well, good for him." But I heard it a lot more, and I always heard it from people staying up cashing checks, and I wasn't. So he got my interest. So Kevin, tell us what kind of your history you have with this particular bait, the tube jig.
Well, it's kind of a funny story.
Yeah.
I used to fish a lot of boat tournaments. I actually started, I think, in about 1992. I was 14 years old. That was the first time I had fished a tournament, and I fished back in those days with my dad, because I didn't have a boat and none of my buddies had a boat. And so we started fishing tournaments together. And as I got a little bit older, our fishing styles started to differ quite a bit. And one of the guys that I was working with, we started fishing together. And then, we decided we were going to start fishing tournaments together. And it's kind of funny because he did this to me a couple of times. And I remember one time we were fishing Lake of Egypt, and he pulls a rod out of his rod box, and it's got a pink floating worm on it. And I started making fun of him. I was like, "Dude, I cannot believe that you were going to throw that thing." Well, after he'd caught about 15, I was asking for one. And he said, "Oh, no, you don't like that bait." He said, you're just going to have to wait till you can go to the store and buy some for yourself. And well, lo and behold, a couple of years later, same kind of deal. He pulls a rod out of his box, and I was like, "What in the world is that?" And he said, "That's a tube." I said, "That's the stupidest looking thing I've ever seen." I said, "I don't know why in the world you would throw that, because, you get the things that catch your eye. And honestly, when you look at a tube, it doesn't look like much of anything." And after he started smoking me on that thing, I was like, "I've got to get some of it." I didn't dare ask him because I knew he wasn't going to give me any. So I kind of followed suit. And that would have been probably about 2000, I guess the year. Yeah, about 2000. As a matter of fact, that year, the next year in 2001, we actually won the Team Supreme division at Red Lake. And I think that probably 98% of our keepers came off of that tube.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And so,
Wow.
that's kind of where I got my start at it, and I just began to realize, man, this thing catches a lot of fish, and being a creature of habit, here we are 20 some years later, and I just really have never put it down.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you're talking about 23 years ago. So one of the books that I look at a couple times a year here, I don't know if you recognize this or not. It's The End Fisherman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This thing was published in 1991, I think. Right. So, a decade before what you're talking about. And lo and behold, what's featured in this book under jigs is the very jig you're talking about, the tube jig, but you just don't see it much.
So I think there's reason for that. I think that people have tried to mimic, and they've gotten close with the action and things on it, but it's it's not really something that catches your eye. And if you've got something with a lot more cool looking claws and craws on it, it sells better.
Catches the fishermen, right?
Right. But they do catch fish too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you listen to a lot of the professionals, you know, I was listening to Jason Christie the other day, one of his major fall time baits. You know, he goes to a tube. Bill Lowen, if you listen to him, he'll tell you that there's one bait that he never goes into a tournament with, and he's always got it tied on, and that's a tube. And it's just something that I've realized that any time of year, from when it's bitter cold to when it's 100 degrees, and even in the fall, you know, with just something really as minor as color change, it's just a year-round bait, and it's a fish catching machine. When they won't bite anything else, they will bite a tube.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I brought some with me, so I'll open one of these up, and we'll see if we're looking at the same thing here. But it's you know, it's just a 4-inch tube style bait.
Okay. All right, and it's hollow, right? In the
Yes,
middle, it's pretty much hollow.
Yep, it's completely hollow. The head's not hard on it. It's just soft and mushy, and it's full of salt. Who doesn't love salt, right?
Yeah, exactly. It makes it heavy too, right? So,
right, yeah.
So when you rig that, do you always rig that with some sort of lead jig head, or?
I actually don't use a jig head. I Texas rig.
Okay.
The kind of cover that, you know, we're fishing, you know, maybe if I would try it fishing out deep, if I was on some rock or some shell or anything, but I always Texas rig. It's you know, fishing shallow, fishing weeds and logs and stuff, you know, trying to stay as weedless as what you can. But yes, I fish at Texas rig, and I'll tell you that excuse me, you really learn some interesting tricks with, you know, fishing one for so long that you know, you kind of learn what to do and what not to do. And I'll tell you, if you want, I can show you. I'll start with, you know, if you don't mind, I'll start with a hook.
Absolutely.
That I use, and I don't mind to share this because they don't make these hooks anymore. And as a matter of fact, when COVID hit, I kind of went on a binge, and since they didn't make these, I tried to call every bait shop in the United States, but I know there's still a bunch of them somewhere.
Wow.
And I think I ended up with, I don't know, between me and a buddy of mine, we spent about $1,600 on hooks. So that, well, here's the thing. I just knew that
you have a hook problem, sir.
Well, I do.
Oh my gosh.
But I knew that they didn't make them anymore. And there's something special about this hook that just makes the tube experience better, because a lot of guys will not fish it. And I'll tell you, just to give you a little thing here, a lot of guys will not fish a tube because of the hookup ratio. It's, if you don't have the proper equipment, you're going to hate it. So there's some tricks that you can use regular hooks, but this one, this is I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, that shows up pretty good. Has that got a collar on the top of it? That's the only thing I'm kind of missing the detail there.
What that is this is a clip.
Oh, clip. Okay.
Yeah. So if you can see here that I've released it. So what that does is that will hold the tube to the top of the hook once I rig it.
All right.
This was actually...
Was it a corkscrew? It's hard to tell there.
No, it's not.
No, it's just a clip. Okay.
It's just a clip. So Shaw Grigsby actually designed this tube hook. And I'll tell you, he did a fantastic job when he did so. So as far as the rigging of it goes, you've got the head of your tube here, and then here's your hook. So you go right in the center, about the depth of the barb, and then you come out. You just come out just like you're. There we go.
There you go.
Just like you're going to Texas rig, okay?
Okay.
And then when you slide this down, you can see. Let me pull my paper back up here again. You can see how that clip is open.
Mm-hmm.
So
barely.
Then you just clamp it right back to the hook, and that holds.
Okay, so you got, yeah, it basically it basically pinches the jig between the hook and the clip.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. So, and then just like normal, you Texas rig, you just run it out, and you can see that hook rides right along the top of the tube.
Okay.
It might take you a couple times of going through to get it exactly where you want it. See, that's even a little more flat on there.
Okay.
So
it looks pretty weedless.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you, you can get aggravated at it, but one of the things about this, another reason that the guys miss a lot of fish on a tube is because they'll take and then they'll bury the hook back in the tube. You can't do that with this bait. Because when you set the hook, a lot of times that will pop through and it'll stay in there. What'll happen is the hook will ball up inside and you'll just be reeling at a fish with a closed mouth, and then when it opens its mouth, it'll spit the bait.
Okay. So you gotta have that hook exposed parallel with the top of the bait then.
Yeah. If you don't have it like that, then your hookup ratio is gonna go down really bad, and it's not gonna be a good day. So, but you can see too, if you try to put a regular hook on a tube, what'll happen is the barb will come back and it'll curve too far down into the tube like this.
Okay.
So this one is designed to sit flat, to sit flat on there. It's like I said, Shaw Grigsby, he knocked it out of the park when he designed
he's a bright. I love listening to interviews with him. He's just a down to earth, no nonsense, get it done fisherman.
Yes. So
nice.
Texas, as far as Texas rig, that's how I rig the tube. I always use this hook, either a 2 or a 3/0 with it.
So for those of us that weren't on the phone during COVID trying to find leftover stock of a hook that was not manufactured anymore, what do you suggest people use now if they don't have those?
Trocar makes one. And Eagle Claw makes one still, but they've changed the top of the hook. So those work pretty good, and you can actually, let me see in my box here if I've got a wide gap hook. I might have everything but about the junk in here. I didn't bring much. This is still my hooks from the Crossroads, and I didn't take it. I didn't take any wide gap hooks with me.
Are the hooks out there that are available now? Do they have those collars on them, or they have keepers on them?
They have more of a keeper like that you would put on a flipping hook.
Okay,
like the little black piece with the prong on it.
Yes. Okay. I think I found them online here. Eagle Claw Trocar tournament hooks. Let me see if I can bring up a picture. All right, you seen that one?
Yes. And that's a good hook too.
Okay. That's close.
Yes,
you're looking at.
It's very close. Again, it all depends on how you rig the hook.
Okay.
So I would tell anybody, since I don't have one to show you. Mm-hmm. If this makes sense, all of that black piece at the top of the hook has to stay completely inside of the tube.
Okay.
You can't. You would, like with a soft plastic, you would run it out the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically, the whole eye and everything has to stay in the center of the tube head on those hooks. And if not, it won't lay flat on your bait the way it's supposed to.
But the eye would be exposed, right, on the outside of your
Yeah,
tube, or would it be?
you can leave the eye exposed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the
So
only thing keeping that together would be the keeper there inside. All
yes,
right.
yes.
Interesting.
So and also as far as rigging, I'm going to say that 98% of the time it's 3/16 ounce weight.
Okay. Okay.
It just seems to be what generates the far as weight that generates the most amount of bites. If you're fishing, like where was that? Um, the place up north we fished, Banner.
Yeah, Banner
Uh,
Marsh.
I was fishing. It was brutal, but I was
Mm-hmm.
fishing 15 foot deep with a 3/16 ounce weight
Ooh.
because any other bait, any other weight was making it fall too fast, or
Okay.
if I went to an eighth, it would fall too slow. It's just kind of an odd deal. But every once in a while, up in weight. Um, but to me, a 3/16 ounce weight affects
Just
the
about
fall
right.
of it and makes it the most fish catching.
Okay.
And another thing to notice on that too is you never peg the weight on a tube, because if you do, you kill the action.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I know I'm giving away all my secrets, but I don't think too many guys are going to be running out and grabbing these things tonight. But
Yeah.
yeah, so just one of those things that you notice over the years. As a matter of fact, when I truly figured this out, I was living in North Little Rock, and I was working at a fishing store there called Fishing Stuff, and it was where all the pros came. You wouldn't believe the guys that I've met in this place. Classic winners, George Cochran. Several of the owners of Bass Cat boats. I met several people, and the Fishing Stuff had a Wednesday night tournament every Wednesday night. So I found a fishing partner. We started fishing, and I had 2 rods rigged up, and we were going down the bank, and I had the one with the pegged weight on, and I just wasn't getting a bite. And
Mm-hmm.
I put it down, and I grabbed something else and didn't even think about it. And then I picked the rod up with the weight that wasn't pegged. And I went through a 25 pack of tubes in a 4-hour tournament.
Oh,
And
wow.
and I thought, well, man, there's really, really something to this. And I began to realize that when you peg the weight on this bait, it kills the action.
So just
And I'll tell you, if you're if you got a swimming pool or something like
mm-hmm.
that, if you just put one of these on a line with a 3/16 ounce weight and throw it out there and watch it fall, you understand really quickly
Okay.
why fish love it. So
Outstanding. So is there any time you fish it weightless, or do you
you
always
know,
use the?
not very often, but you can
Okay.
throw it weightless, and it's about the same as fishing a fluke.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can really pop it and twitch it and things,
Mm-hmm.
and it will. It's got a lot of
Okay.
action. So, but every once in a while, I'll drop down to an 1/8 ounce weight. Depending on caffeine this year.
Okay.
I dropped to an 1/8 ounce weight, and that helped me in that tournament. So
All right. What's the heaviest weight you've put on one to fish
the
really
heaviest
deep?
the heaviest is 3/8.
Okay.
Is the heaviest that I've put on it, and the only reason is I was pitching in Phragmites around the edge of a lake.
Okay.
Kind of the stuff that's around Newton.
All right.
And that particular day, it was just a reaction bite. It was just the mood that they were in. They wanted something coming by them fast.
Okay.
And
So you need something that's
3/8
dropping
is,
fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
The 3/8 is about the biggest that I've ever went on it. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing that I figured out as far as Texas rigged, you get much over 10 feet fishing this bait Texas rig, you're wasting your time.
Okay.
So
10
it
feet of
seems
depth is about it.
yeah. So
Texas.
now I think the guys that are smallmouth fishing with them, that's quite a bit different. But as
Hmm.
far as like largemouth fishing, if you're fishing out on a ledge, I personally don't have good luck doing that. I switched to a actual jig at that point.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, but
Interesting.
it's the action on, like I said, the action on this thing is It's pretty insane.
So with when you talk about getting that bite, what's the typical? I know typical bite feel like, and how do you react?
It really varies, but for the
Okay,
most part, it's pretty vicious.
all right,
I mean, when there's no mistaking it. When they've got it, they've got it.
okay,
It's either they're slack line, they're hitting it on slack line when you pick it up, or you go to
hmm
pick it up and they're 10 foot off to the side already.
okay.
They don't mess around with it. So
So let's talk about where you're using these at. What kind of cover? You already talked about heavy grass. Um, what about wood? Is this going to get
it's it's a it's a really good bait for wood,
okay?
but not being able to bury that hook, it will get frustrating on you.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
I
it
can see
seems
that.
like you can get hung up a lot, but if you choose your cast and you try to be particular about what you're
Hmm.
doing, it's really really a good bait in the wood too.
All right,
I think the place that it shines the best is gravel, gravel and rock.
okay,
To me, I
all right.
think you you're going down a bank and you're fishing a mud bank, flipping logs, and you come across a little patch of rock. It's like candy.
Oh, yeah.
So
Talk. You said candy. So, what kind of colors or do you prefer? I saw you got green pumpkin there. You had up, I think,
yeah.
a while ago.
So I'm very very basic when it
Okay.
comes to fishing a tube. When it's cold outside, it's black red flake.
Okay.
I'm talking water in the high 30s to mid 50s, and 60, right around that range.
Hmm.
That black with red flake is, to me, is the hardest to beat. There's something
Okay.
about it that time of year. Actually, the biggest bass I ever caught on a tube was in, I think, in February. Um, it was 8 pounds even, and it was on a
Oh my
black
gosh.
red flake.
Nice.
Um, when the water starts to warm up past that, it's I switch to green pumpkin. So I go from the black red flake when it's cold to the green pumpkin, and in summertime, usually I'll have 2 to 3 rods rigged up with a tube, and
Really.
two of them just because I don't like to retie.
Hmm.
Excuse me,
Hmm.
and then I'll go from back and forth from the green pumpkin to the smoke purple.
Smoke
Um,
purple. Okay.
yeah, smoke with purple flake in it, and as a
Is
matter
that
of
for
fact,
your? Is that
that's
a bluegill imitator then,
kind of
or
a
is it
shad imitator.
is shad? Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think I caught all but one of my fish at Coffeen on Smoke Purple, and I
Okay.
caught all my fish at Banner on the Smoke Purple.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can bring that. Ah, I found it. Okay. Something like that. It's like that's from Chompers. A little different, maybe. It's called their
Yep. That's
Smoke Purple
basically
Flake.
that's basically the same as the one that I throw, as far
Okay.
as color wise. Yeah.
All right.
Chomper is a great tube. That's actually the brand that I started using.
Okay.
Um, that's the brand that I started with, the 4 inch. Um,
What's your
they
preferred
make a
brand
very
now?
Okay, so I have to say that all tubes are not created equal.
Okay.
The one that I prefer now is a place out of Arkansas. It's out of Batesville. It's called Right Bite. Right
Okay.
Bite Baits.
Right bite baits.
Yeah, they are they are fantastic to deal with. I mean, just good old boys. If you can't get on their website, you call them and tell them what you need. The guy gets them right out. They sell them in bulk. I usually buy 100 to 200 at a time. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
but
That's pretty good deal. If I'm looking at their, let's see, I'll bring that up.
yeah,
Looking at their
great
website
plug for
now.
them. I like I said, they're super good to deal with, and they hand pour all these. They're salted like crazy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty reasonable prices too. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
for 10, look at all the colors they have there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Nice. I always like to
like I
see these small companies, get business instead of buying stuff that's made in China and
Right.
Yeah,
I
it's just
agree. I actually, when I was, like I said, when I was living in Arkansas working at fishing stuff, they
mhm.
sold these in bulk and in packs of 20, and that's where you got turned on to these, and I just,
Okay,
I was using chompers before and started using these, and I just fell in love with them. They're just great baits.
awesome. Okay, so we've talked a lot about what you fish, how where you fish them at, when you fish. So what kind of equipment are you using? Um, Generally, I know you said you usually have several rods already lined up with different tubes on them, but what kind of line and rod are you using?
Okay, so I actually use the Dobbins Champion series,
Okay.
and I use a 735 series. Some guys think it's really heavy. I don't think it is. I think it's labeled
Mm,
a heavy action.
okay.
7 foot 3 inch 5 power rod. It's got a lot of backbone. The super sensitive tip. It's
Okay.
uh, Shimano SLX XT reels,
All right.
and 98% of the time I use 20-pound fluorocarbon.
Hmm.
Um, just about everywhere we fish. A couple, every once in a while I drop down to 17, but 20 is just my deal. I don't worry about breaking it.
Yeah.
I still feel like I get plenty of bites, but I do feel like. Do you use fluorocarbon quite a bit?
I've used it a little bit. I've had some frustrating experiences with it. To be honest with you, I just felt like I'm spending $20 to put line on a reel, and then I end up have I've had some that's worked out pretty well. But frankly, I'm moving more and more towards more braid,
Yeah,
and braid to fluorocarbon leader. I feel like for me anyway, the braid I can manage it better. I don't have to replace it. It's not near as expensive.
yeah,
But I think you're right. I think there's a lot of times with fluorocarbon would be good. I think you have to take good care of it though.
yeah. You do, and
Yeah.
because I'm hard on stuff, and what I've found is the Sunline, the FC Sniper is
Okay.
very very good line.
All
It's a
right.
little costly. As a matter of fact, I well, I better not talk too much about how much money I spend on fishing stuff in case my wife watches this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. You
But
never know. Yeah.
it's $30 for a 200-yard spool, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit. The diameter is a little bit less.
Okay.
The uh, resistance is fantastic, and it doesn't seem to coil up on me near as much.
All right.
But the so yeah, 98% of the time it's 20-pound fluorocarbon,
Okay.
um, and I'll tell you what, even down to the knot, um, I feel like that's just really important.
Okay. What's been
Everybody has
successful
their.
for you?
So I really don't even know what the name of it is. Is what I
Okay.
saw when I found it. It was on YouTube, and lo and behold, it was the Shaw Grigsby
Uh,
knot. Yeah.
that's cool.
So
Yeah.
it's a three. If you end up with three tag ends on it, so
Okay.
you've got double. You're looping double, kind of like a floral or like a polymer knot. So you've got double line going through the eye of the hook, and
Okay. I have to look that up on YouTube later.
yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the hind end once you first start
Hmm.
tying it, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. And
Okay.
um, a lot of times I don't have to if I'm not fishing a lot of rock, I don't even have to retire all day long. So,
All right.
um,
Nice.
but
Nice. Um,
but
so we've covered a lot of the how. So is this, in the water column, yeah, you've already said that 8 feet's about, I think you said 8 feet, didn't you?
yeah,
Eight to
about
10
8 to
feet,
10
eight to
max.
10 is about as deep as you want to go. Do you ever try to go use this as a sort of top water to quick action? Or are you always fishing mid?
You know what? It's funny that you asked that
Uh,
because it's amazing how many times that um, especially if you're pitching like into Phragmitis or something like that,
mm,
or even logs or something, bringing it up over the log. I've had so many fish. When you think your cast is done, you're bringing it out of the water, and they just blow up on it. Um, you have to fish this bait. You have to find what the fish want on it. I've been days where I've honestly just thrown it out and reeled it in just like a crankbait and caught
Really?
fish on it. There's days that it's been so painstakingly slow that that it just feels like a cast takes 20 minutes. But most of the time it's pretty well just. I'm not a big hopper and jumper on the bottom. I really don't work stuff like crazy too often. I think Jonathan even kind of talked about that with the jig. When we were talking at Crossroads, and to me, there's just the drag. I'm just a steady drag with it.
Okay. So you're maintaining body contact, but you're just dragging it.
Yes.
You're just dragging it on the bottom.
Yeah.
Feeling for every little obstruction and hit,
yes.
obviously. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a tight line pretty much the entire time.
Right. And there's and then there's days that I kind of trailed away from your question there about the topwater.
No, that's okay. No, absolutely.
There's a lot of days that if you're fishing it on a grass edge, snapping it, you can hop it up off the bottom and they'll hit it on the fall. You hop it up off the bottom and just you pull it up and let it fall. Rip it up, let it fall. There's a lot of ways to. Really, you could do anything with it, in my opinion.
Real versatile.
Yes. You take the weight off of it. Like I said, you can fish it on top or like a fluke, and
that's fat.
Even when you reel it in, it doesn't just come straight to the boat. That thing's constantly trailing through the water and moving, and it's just very natural.
So it kind of searches on its own. Is that kind of what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
As a matter of fact, I think I saw a video that John Cruz was talking about the D-bomb. And what he did is, I think what he said is he worked on that bait to try to get the action of the tube with a hookup ratio to where, it was, people could catch more fish. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why that D-bomb bait is so absolutely deadly.
Yes, I hear a lot of people using that successfully. Definitely. Wow, that's a lot of information there. That might have to give me some of those hooks.
I know a guy.
Now it looks like there's some workarounds there for those of us that don't have a private stash anywhere. But so you need you said medium heavy, or you're using heavy action. You're using 20 pound fluorocarbon, fishing anywhere from the top to 8 to 10 feet of water, maintaining body contact, and it's all in the rigging. Is that good summarization?
It's all in
the rigging.
All in the what?
All in the rigging.
Yeah.
You gotta have the right weight, not to kill the action. Don't peg it. That'll kill the action, and you'll have issues, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So is that
it's just. Go ahead.
No, is that 8 pounders a heck of a fish, especially for Illinois? Is that the biggest fish that you've caught on all these tube jigs?
It was 8 even. That's the biggest I've caught on a tube.
That's incredible. Yeah, you've had a lot of luck at a lot of our tournaments with it. I know that.
Yeah. I've been very fortunate. I'm just kind of a firm believer that, you put something in your hand you've got confidence in, and you fish it until you know not to fish it. And there's not been Dalton and I were fortunate enough last year to catch a limit in every tournament. And I can tell you that every fish that I bumped, or every fish at Newton that I submitted to the final submissions came off a tube.
Wow.
The second tournament, I don't remember where our second tournament was. Oh, Kincaid. Other than the one fish on a jig at Kincaid, my other 4 keepers come off of a tube.
Man,
Really the only one I caught 2 on it at Sancris, a couple on a crankbait there. Most of the fish that I caught this past year, I think, came off of a tube.
you can't argue with the results. That's for sure. You have
No,
great stand.
no,
You won. How many did you won? You won at least one tournament this year, right? How many did
no.
you? I thought you won at least one.
I wanted to real bad, but
Yeah,
I just couldn't. I just
I know you were up there in money.
I really didn't. I guess I couldn't say that I really missed any opportunities to.
Mhm.
I don't want to be that guy. So, oh, if I would have done this, I would have won. But
Yeah,
I just really didn't. A lot of the lakes that I went to this year was the first time that I had ever seen them.
yeah.
And going cold, you just kind of gotta
Oh yeah,
hope for the
tough.
best, and
Yeah, that's real tough.
and to go along with that, I mean, let's just face it, we've got some straight up studs in this club that we're in.
There's serious
And
competition.
yeah, and I can tell you that if I'm able to win one of these tournaments, it will mean more to me than any other success in any other tournament that I've won, just because the quality of fishermen that we fish against.
Wow, that's saying something. You got quite a history.
And
So that's
with the history. Yes,
Mhm.
it truly is. These guys. I mean, I had 86 inches at Newton, and I thought that I had hammered it, and I think I was in 5th place or 6th place, and then you get 80 something somewhere else, and you think,
Mhm.
oh well, then you're in 4th place. I mean, these guys, man, yeah.
Yeah,
So they just catch them,
yeah.
and I truly mean that. If
Yeah,
if I'm able to win one of these, I would feel better about that than any
Oh
of
yeah,
the other
it's
ones.
quite an accomplishment. And the
Yeah.
great thing about it is, and again, I think every episode we kind of we give a little mini commercial for a Southern Illinois Kayak Club Tournament Trail. But yes, there's really serious competition, but nobody takes themselves too seriously, and it's a really
Right.
really friendly group of guys that they may whoop you, all right, but they're going to joke all the way to the bank, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's and I guarantee you things like you being very successful in our tournament trail, coming on and talking about some of your secrets and your most confidence baits. I mean, that's not going to happen anywhere else.
No,
it's just not.
It's not.
And it says a lot about you as a person and your willingness to help other folks get better at what they're doing. So we appreciate you doing that tonight, Kevin. That's been a big help for me. Just doing these interviews, or I've really picked up on a lot of stuff that I think is going to help me down the road, and hopefully the people, the 2 or 4 people that watch the podcast, they're going to pick up some of that too. And if they don't, man, too bad, because definitely I know I'm going to.
Well, hopefully we get the schedule out soon, and
yes.
When we get to meet up again here in April or whenever, I think April when we'll start. I might just have a little prize pack for you. So
there you go. Awesome.
Maybe I'll hook a friend up with a pack of hooks and some tubes. So, but
I want to thank you so much for taking your time. I know it's a busy week. We're approaching the holidays, and I know you got a lot of things going on, and God bless for the work that you do every day, and both for your church and for your construction business.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you for the time, sir. All right. You have a good night, partner. We'll let you go.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
You too.
Take care. Good fishing.